What's going on, everyone? Gelman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our weekly Palantir update video where we take a look back at how Palantir stock traded this past week, some key support and resistance levels that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Palantir stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. And it was an absolutely amazing week for Palantir stock. We were talking about, starting kind of the Friday before this week, we started with a breakout, which if you've seen my videos, right, we were talking about for a while, and we saw that breakout happen, a couple days after I had mentioned that we could see it happening soon. It happened a lot sooner than I was saying though, but if you'd seen the video, you knew exactly the top level that we were looking for. And once it broke that, breakout started. So we saw that push up kind of from the 25s to the 32s. And then these 5 candles are this past week. So let's see how it looked this past week. Again, right, we started the week near the mid 30s, saw a decent sell-off right out the gate, right, with kind of the whole market, which was bought up pretty nicely, so we were right back up. Then we were sideways on the 126, so Tuesday, and then Wednesday, again, we saw a huge push up from kind of the low 30s, low to mid 30s, to the $45 mark, and what a day that was for Palantir, and then kind of closed the day at 42. Thursday obviously sold off, right? We were talking about that, how it was so high up with both the run up, with the breakout, the run up to demo day, and all that. So we saw that on Thursday, and then Friday we saw a little bit of a red day as well. So nothing too crazy for Palantir in terms of the pullback yet, which is great news for us, right? I mean, considering the amount we're up, we went from pretty much 25 to at one point 45, but now we're at 35. So still 25 to 35. We're talking about, a 30 something or 40% increase in a matter of a week. So that's great news for the stock, right? The one thing that I want to talk about here is, this is a pretty good read on, Palantir and how they've really been able to, it sounds weird to say, but take advantage of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? A lot of what they're doing is with government work, and we're talking about, the FDA here. They're talking about the safety of certain drugs, which includes potential COVID-19 vaccines. And Shyam Shankar, who is the COO, I believe, right? Yeah, COO of Palantir, was talking about how they were able to, kind of really take advantage of that to sell their software to the government, and they're, integrating data from 70 institutions around clinical trials related to COVID, and a lot of other solutions related to COVID. And a lot of people are looking at this. First of all, this is a great read if you are invested in Palantir, right? If you just type in this link, you'll go to Yahoo Finance and you can read kind of some of the back and forth in the interview. But the reason that I really like this is because a lot of people have been saying they've really accelerated because of COVID, but what happens once it goes away? And I think that's kind of just the start of things, right? So they got introduced before, it might have been a little bit more difficult for them to come up to the FDA, but now they have a contract with the FDA, and first of all, it's a 3-year long contract, right? So it's not just 2020 or 2021, it's 3 years. So that will continue. But, once they have their foot in the door and the government really sees how Palantir is with their software. And the other thing with Palantir is they are, they use data, right, to drive insight. And so once they have the data, they can do so much more with it that the companies are more likely to, renew a lot of those contracts. At least that's how it is with the government, with consulting and all that, right? The government, especially, once they are used to something and they see value in it, it's the government, so they can renew whenever they want to for millions and millions of dollars. And then if we also take a look at this past week, they got a deal done with Rio Tinto, so great exposure to that industry as well. So I think Palantir, it will continue to hopefully grow. They have kind of high expectations expected, right? That's why the stock price is up so much between kind of the second half of 2020 to now. And so they have high expectations. But, you know, I think that they can definitely deliver on a lot of those expectations. So going back to the chart now, what do we see moving into the future? So as I said, we saw this breakout happening, pushing us up. What do we see now as future levels of support and resistance? So one thing to keep in mind, right? Again, we went from the low mid 20s to mid 40s. A little bit of a pullback is healthy. A little bit of pullback is normal and needed for the stock to kind of gain momentum, start going up again, right? So it's a healthy part of the process. We've seen a little bit of that, and we are super close to the 8 EMA. So let me cover from a price action level of support and resistance what I see, which are kind of the horizontal lines that we see here. And then I'll get rid of those, and then we'll bring out the EMAs real quick to cover it from that perspective. So from a price action perspective, right, we've been really good with Palantir. Our levels have been pretty on point. If I go to the 5-day chart, right, every time you see a bounce is pretty close to our line. Every time we really struggle to break a level, it's because we have a resistance point there as well. So, I mean, if you've got similar levels to us, you've been doing pretty well if you trade Palantir. So let's take a look at those levels real quick for us. If we push up, right, 36.72 is the first level of resistance that we, I think, have to break over. And then if we can break over that and stay above that, then we push towards this 40 level. And if we can break the 40 level, $45 is the next level, right? So on the upside, if we start to head up again tomorrow, 36.72, $40.16, and then the $45 mark are the 3 levels that I'm personally watching. But if we do see a continued pullback, or if we see more market weakness around the, you know, what's going on with GameStop and AMC and costs and all those short squeezes happening, then we could see a little bit more of a pullback in the general market, right? Not necessarily Palantir based. Or if we see, you know, more of a pullback related to Palantir based on how much it's up. We do have a little bit of a run room down. I'm going to get, I don't know why I just brought these on. We've got a little bit of run room down to the 32.86, which, as you can see, the past kind of Wednesday and Thursday found good support there. And then if we keep dropping from there, 30.39, and then we've got the 29.47 right behind it, right? So the 3 levels that I'm watching on the downside are 32.86, 30.39, and the 29.40s. Now let me get rid of this, and I want to talk about what I see with the EMAs, right? So what we have here is we have a little bit of separation between the current price and the 8 EMA. So we're in the 35.18s, 35.10 after hours. The 8 EMA comes in at 33.65, which is about $1.50-ish cents away. So that's something to keep in mind. That's our first level of support. And the reason I really like that level of support is, you know, it's held up after runs pretty nicely, during runs and after runs, right, this top line. But, you know, the times we've broken below it, other than this kind of prolonged weakness when we were consolidating that we were talking about, which is why I wasn't super worried about, you know, Palantir being a little weak when it came to EMAs, is because we were consolidating for that breakout, which we got. We always bounced off of the 8 or the 21 EMA, other than this time where we bounced off the 34 EMA, right? So we do have a little bit of room to the 8 EMA, where, again, that's about $1.50 away. So if we do go down tomorrow, a key level to watch would be the 33.65 level, or whatever the 8 EMA ends up being tomorrow, right? That number changes on a daily basis a little bit. And if we break that, we've got the 29 EMA coming right at $29.97, so pretty much $30, which is also a level of support for us. So 33.65, hopefully we see a bounce, but if not, we could go to the 21 EMA and the 29s, and then the 27.90 being the 34 EMA. If you guys remember here, the lowest we've pretty much gone since early November, when this run really started, is that 34 EMA for a couple days, and then we kind of round it up. So I think that number right now is in the 27s, high 27s. So that would be kind of what I'm anticipating as the max downside. Again, anything could happen and we could just burn right through that, right? But hopefully first level of support, 33.65, then 29.97, and then 27.90. These EMAs are more for kind of daily closes, right? And levels to capture and stay above. And the points I shared before were, if you're looking kind of on if you're looking at kind of the trading happening during the day, those levels, would be a bit more accurate. And the EMAs are more for, you know, levels where we could bounce, or more so levels where we need to stay above or close above. So that's all I had for you guys today. Great week for Palantir. I know a lot of us had a good trading week for Palantir, both with the run up to demo day as well as the crazy action that we got on Wednesday. You know, hopefully we see a little bit of consolidation and a push up and we break that 45 all-time high that we set. Could be a little while before we do that based on the market conditions right now. Looking a little weak, but hopefully soon. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day. And until next time.